Hi, I'm Michael Bourgeois with One Exam Prep, and today we are talking about the South Carolina Building Contractors Exam Prep course. Whether you're going for residential or commercial, the books are fairly similar, and just wanted to let you know a little bit about what to expect in the course and maybe what not to expect in the course. What what you're not going to have in the course is someone teaching you the trade. So you're not going to learn the trade. You learn the trade on your own. In South Carolina, you actually have to know the trade before you ever even apply for the exam. That's part of the examination application, is that you have some trade experience working directly under a licensee that holds the same type of contractor's license that you're going after yourself. So your trade experience comes, years before you take this exam. Uh, we're also not going to teach you how to memorize the books. Here's one of the books: uh, Carpentry and Building Construction. Okay, so you may or may not have ever even seen this book. You may have not even known that this book existed, but this is one of the approved references that you can bring with you into the exam because this book has a whole lot of questions that are on the exam from this book. Look how thick this book is. That's wild. And so another book would be the code book. If you're going for residential, then it would be the IRC, International Residential Code. Uh, Huge. And if you're going for a commercial, this is my tabbed one. This is the IBC, International Building Code. This is just two of the books right here. So out of another four or five that you have to bring with you into the test if you expect to pass. This is an open book test. So a lot of people are under the misconception that an open book test means that it's easy or easier, and that's not the case. An open book test is most of the time more challenging than a test that doesn't allow you to carry open books into the exam with you. So it is a very, very challenging exam, and we can help coach you through it. So the goal is not to teach you the trade in the class, and the goal is not to memorize these books. Are you kidding me? I mean, realistically, these two books plus four or five other books, to memorize enough information from these books to pass an exam, that's 110 questions that takes 6 hours. Um, that's unrealistic. So we're not going to tell you what information to memorize because we don't know. I mean, they change the exams, right? It's not always the same exam over and over and over again. They update them. They make new questions. There's several different versions of the exam that go in a rotation. So there'd be no way to try to get you to memorize answers to questions that we don't even know whether or not they're going to be on the exam. That's crazy. No, what we do is we teach you how to navigate the books. That's what we do. That's what the class is. That's what it's all about. That's how you pass these exams. You know the books just well enough to know if the question on the exam is from the particular book that you're working out of, or is it from a different book, right? So, what you need to know is how to identify which book the question is from. And you need to know how to find the answer in that book. What is the pathway to the answer? Is that content found in the index? Is it in the glossary? Is it in the table of contents? Is it in this chapter, that chapter? Is it in this book or that book? That's what we're going to teach you. We're going to teach you how to know, how to identify, how to figure out which book to find the answer to these 110 questions and how to navigate that book well enough to find the answer in the allotted amount of time. Right? If you divide out the 6 hours by 110 minutes, so you've got 3 minutes over 3 minutes per question. So we're going to teach you how to find the answers in less than 3 minutes per question. And that's what the class is about. My introduction to one exam prep was as a student. Now I'm an instructor. However, I was, I spent 20 years in construction in many different trades. My whole adult life has been in construction. Well, it's been more than 20 years, but it took me 20 years to work up the nerve to want to study and get my contractor's license. So now I hold multiple licenses, and all of them are because I took classes from one exam prep. Business and finance class was with one exam prep, and then I went and passed the exam, and then a couple of different contractor's licenses for trade exams were with one exam prep, and I went and took the tests and passed because I studied and went to class, and they even offered private tutoring sessions, which I took advantage of, and it cut my study time in half with the private tutoring sessions. I took about 5 private tutoring sessions for each test that I was taking, and I heard about people spending, 6 months to study and a year to study, and just it only took me a couple of months with going to class, following the instructions, going through all the tabs and all the practice questions. I mean, I took the studying very seriously, and then I had about 5 private tutoring sessions on top of that, and that was how I was able to pass my exams. I was scared to death to take these tests for decades, literal decades, and finally, when I worked up the nerve to make a phone call to one exam prep. My sales representative walked me through the process and everything and got me started. And I mean, that was it. In fact, I couldn't believe I waited so long. That was my genuine reaction after I got my first contractor's license. I passed the business and finance exam and then passed the trade exam and then went through the application process, which one exam helped me with, to the state. Got my contractor's exam, or I got my contractor's license and thought, man, why did I wait this long when I had this kind of help? So this class, it's a, I mean, it's a lot to tackle, right? I mean, the residential code book is thicker than the commercial code book. So it's a lot to take on, especially by yourself. I was always of the school of thought that says don't ever do anything for the first time without some coaching, without some mentorship, without some help. So for me, it was a no-brainer that I needed, a class of some kind. I needed help. I needed guidance. It's it's just it's just what I was always brought up to believe that you shouldn't. It's not necessary to do things all on your own by yourself if there's people out there who have already walked that path and can guide you. If you can just walk in someone else's footsteps, then it makes it a whole lot easier and you can get there a lot faster than someone who is trying to carve out their own way. So I think that applies with exam prep. I mean, there's in what my opinion is that one exam prep has sort of cracked the code on the fastest, easiest way. So, in other words, the most efficient way to study for these exams, prepare for these exams, and then pass these exams so you can get your contractor's license. As far as money goes, to me, before I got my licenses, I mean, it was so expensive. What it was costing me to not have my license was so much more than what the class cost or what tutoring costs or the price of the books or whatever it was. I would suggest that you order the books pre-tabbed and highlighted. I'll just say that it takes a really long time to do it yourself if you've never done it. So ordering them pre-tabbed and highlighted is definitely worth every penny. So just a little recommendation there. I've had it both ways. I've gotten the books sent to me pre-tabbed and highlighted, and I've gotten the books sent to me without having them been tabbed and highlighted. And let me just tell you, like a friend, it's worth every penny to have them pre-tabbed and highlighted. because that is time consuming. Anyways, so it's it's really just a matter of saying yes, committing to getting the help with class. I mean, if you want your contractor's license, the fastest way to get it is through going to class. If you're on the fence about it, it doesn't cost anything to make a phone call. Oneexamprep.com has tons of information that you can take a look at if you're not ready to actually speak with someone. And the phone number's on the website. If you do want to speak with someone, if you want a consultation, it doesn't cost anything just to have a conversation with somebody that can explain the process to you. It's not near as scary as what I thought it was going to be. And so I feel fortunate now that I'm able to do what was done for me, which is help people and coach people. So give it a try. Give us a call. We can help you navigate these books. You can have your. I mean, if you're, I, I guess I don't want to stutter too much. It doesn't have to be that scary, and it doesn't have to take a long time for you to get your contractor's license. I mean, you can have it just a couple of months after you sign up for the class. It's just up to you, how fast you want to work or how slow you want to work, or how much time you have in your budget. And then if you can, make an investment in some private tutoring, that's going to speed things along. It's a great program. Give us a call, check us out, and I'll see you in class.